Part 1, Chapter 2, The Project That Changed Everything. Quit Your Diet Think to Shrink isn't about the Morbidity Project or what happened in that tennis club. But without that experience, I might never have understood why the world treats weight loss so differently from every other challenge we face. For decades, I've worked with people navigating some of life's most challenging problems: addiction, trauma, family breakdown, and high-pressure business environments. In those areas, I help people break free from limiting beliefs, shift their mindset, and create meaningful change. And yet, when it came to weight loss, society insisted on treating it as something unique, something that requires endless rules, suffering, and punishment. That never sat right with me. I was curious. I wanted to know why weight loss was treated as an outlier, why people were told their success depended on willpower alone, and why, despite the billions poured into diets, fitness programs, and medical interventions, so many people are still struggling. No one asked what thinner people do and what we could do to shift our personal mindset to mirror those without weight problems. No intervention reflected what we do with alcoholics, drug users, and much more to set them free. I already knew that my approach, combining solution-focused brief therapy, neuro-linguistic programming, and clinical hypnosis, had transformed lives in some of the most complex situations imaginable. These weren't just theories, but strategies that have helped millions create lasting change. If they worked for addiction, crisis intervention, high-stake negotiations, and business leadership, why wouldn't they work for weight loss? The only way to find out was to immerse myself in the problem. That's how I found myself in the middle of the Morbidity Project. And by the time it was over, I had gathered the insights I needed to build a program that finally made sense. When I was first invited to participate in the Morbidity Project, I had no idea what I was walking into. Even the name sounded ominous. It conjured images of extreme reality TV shows, public weigh-ins, contestants sobbing in front of the camera, grueling workouts designed more for a spectacle than actual change. But this wasn't a show. This was real. The goal was straightforward, at least on paper. Take 12 individuals struggling with severe, life-threatening obesity and throw every possible professional resource at them for 12 weeks. Medical support, dietary guidance, psychological tools, fitness coaching, and behavioral therapy. In theory, it sounded like a dream scenario. If we provided people with everything they needed, change would be inevitable. But I knew better than to believe in theory alone. The structure and the real problem. We met once a week at a local tennis club, our unlikely headquarters for the program. And the structure was simple, almost clinical. Health check-ins, a nurse monitored weight, blood pressure, and other key indicators. Dietary reviews. A dietitian analysed food diaries, tracked intake, and provided nutritional advice. Group exercise programs help participants move more and build confidence. Mindset and behaviour work. This was my domain, where I helped people change their thoughts about themselves and their challenges. On the surface, the project had all the ingredients for success. Every participant had access to expertise, guidance, and support. There were no gimmicks, no miracle cures, just a structured plan built on logic. And yet, before the first session, I sensed the real issue wasn't what people knew, it was what they believed. Over the years, I've worked with people who've overcome addictions, rebuilt broken lives, and transformed the way they operate under pressure. The most important lesson I've learned is this. Lasting change doesn't come from information alone. It comes from the transformation in thinking. People don't struggle with weight loss because they lack knowledge. They struggle because they're trapped in a mindset that makes success feel impossible. And that's precisely what I saw in the Morbidity Project. Some participants had spent years believing they were destined to be overweight. Others had internalized failure after years of dieting and rebounding. Many saw diets as an emotional anchor they couldn't imagine living without. It wasn't about calories, carbs, or cardio. It was about identity, habit, and self-perception. That's when I knew the real battle wasn't with food or fitness. It was with the way we saw ourselves. Despite the challenges, the group committed. Week after week, they showed up, ready to do the work. Attendance remained near perfect, something I've never seen in a program like this. And the changes started to appear, not just in numbers, but in life. One man walked into one of my sessions grinning, having gone for a walk for the first time in years. Another guy quietly admitted he'd stopped buying his daily Mars bar, a habit he'd carried as long as he could remember. A woman arrived at our final meeting wearing jeans she had sworn she'd fit into by the end of the program. Now, these weren't dramatic, headline-worthy transformations. They weren't before and after pictures splashed across social media, but they were real, and they proved something I'd long suspected. Success isn't about willpower or suffering. It's about reclaiming control. I often joke that I didn't belong in that room. I wasn't a dietitian, a fitness coach, or a medical professional. My background wasn't in weight loss at all. But I did have 4 decades of experience helping people change across therapy, business, addiction, and high-pressure decision-making. I had spent my career proving that real change doesn't come from force, but from understanding, strategy, and mindset shifts. While the doctors and dietitians focused on food and movement, I focused on people's thoughts. I helped them challenge their assumptions, break their mental patterns, and reframe their struggles. And the most important lesson I brought to the project was this. Change isn't about forcing yourself to follow a rigid plan. It's about aligning your mindset with your goals. After that, everything falls into place. Building the Quit Your Diet program. By the end of the Morbidity Project, I had my answer. Weight loss didn't fail because people lacked knowledge. It failed because people were asked to fight against their psychology, following rigid, unsustainable rules rather than working with their minds. And that's why I built Quit Your Diet, Think to Shrink. I turned to my most trusted, battle-tested strategies, the same ones that had helped millions break addictions, navigate crisis, and rebuild their lives. Solution-focused brief therapy, because change happens when you focus on solutions, not problems. Neuro-linguistic programming, because how we speak to ourselves shapes our reality. Clinical hypnosis, because the subconscious mind holds the key to behavior and change. I pulled lessons from the greatest minds in transformation. I'll quote Virginia Satir. If what you're doing isn't working, try anything else. Richard Bandler once said, almost all problems were once a solution to another problem. And I built a system designed to do what no diet had ever done. Work with your mind instead of against it. This book isn't about the Morbidity Project. It's about what I learned. The following chapters will introduce the tools, strategies, and mindset shifts to help you break free from the diet cycle forever. Give yourself 14 days to prepare, and you can be free of diets, calorie counters, and meal plans for good. Because weight loss isn't about suffering, it's about thinking differently. And once you do that, everything changes.